The latest news surrounding SOY had created a new wave of excitement. For weeks, fans had been watching every update, waiting for information about the cast, the release, and one question that appeared again and again. Could SOY eventually find a home on Netflix? The question had started as a simple fan discussion. Then the rumors became louder. Barış Arduç arrived at the production office one morning and immediately noticed the difference. People were talking about the project everywhere. A member of the team approached him with a tablet. "Have you seen the latest reactions?" Barış smiled. "Not yet." The producer showed him the screen. Thousands of fans were discussing the movie. Some were excited about the new cast. Others were trying to predict the release date. But many were asking the same thing. Will SOY be available on Netflix? Barış read several comments before putting the tablet down. "They're really curious." The producer nodded. "Very." "Do we have an answer?" "Not yet." Barış smiled. "Then we shouldn't create expectations before anything is confirmed." The producer agreed. That was important. The team wanted fans to remain excited, but they also wanted to be careful with information that had not been officially announced. The project had already attracted considerable attention. The addition of new cast members had made people even more curious. Now the possibility of a major streaming platform had added another layer to the conversation. Later that morning, the cast gathered for a rehearsal. Several new performers were already becoming familiar faces around the set. They had spent time learning their characters and understanding how their stories connected. One of them walked over to Barış. "Everyone keeps asking about Netflix." Barış laughed. "I know. What should we say?" "Tell them to be patient." The actor smiled. "That is the safest answer." "It usually is." Everyone laughed. The rehearsal began. The director wanted the cast to focus on the emotional rhythm of the scenes. The story had several moments that required quiet performances rather than dramatic reactions. Barış carefully listened to the director's instructions. The new cast members followed. After the first rehearsal, the director looked satisfied. "Good." Again, but slower. They repeated the scene. This time, the atmosphere felt more natural. The characters seemed to understand each other without saying too much. When the scene ended, the director smiled. "That is what we're looking for." Barış nodded. The project was developing exactly as the team had hoped. During a break, Barış checked his phone. Another wave of messages had arrived. One headline caught his attention. "SOY and Netflix. Could a deal be coming?" He opened the article. It discussed the growing fan interest and the possibility of streaming distribution. But there was no official confirmation. Barış closed the page. He understood why people were excited. Netflix had become a major platform for audiences around the world. If SOY were ever released there, the movie could potentially reach viewers far beyond its original audience. But speculation was still speculation. The real answer would have to come from the production team or the platform itself. That afternoon, the producers held a meeting. The topic was the release strategy. Barış joined them. The discussion included theaters, promotional plans, international audiences, and possible streaming opportunities. One producer said, "The interest from international viewers is growing." Barış nodded. "That is encouraging." Another producer added, "People are asking whether they will be able to watch it from different countries." The director smiled. "That means the story is reaching beyond expectations." Barış agreed. "But we should take every step carefully." Everyone nodded. The team wanted the movie to have the right release. They did not want to rush simply because the audience was impatient. The story deserved time. The production deserved care. And the audience deserved accurate information. Later that evening, Barış gave a short interview. The interviewer asked about the growing buzz. "People are talking about SOY everywhere. How does that feel?" Barış smiled. "It feels wonderful. When people become curious about a story you've worked on, you feel grateful." The interviewer continued. "There are also rumors about Netflix." Barış paused briefly. I've seen the discussions. So, is it happening? Barış smiled. I think everyone should wait for an official announcement. The interviewer nodded. That sounds like a careful answer. It is. They both laughed. The interview was published that evening. Fans immediately began discussing Barış's response. Some believed his careful wording meant something was happening behind the scenes. Others said he was simply avoiding speculation. The production team watched the conversation grow. One producer showed Barış the latest comments. People are analyzing every word. Barış laughed. They're very observant. Are you surprised? Not anymore. The following day, another announcement arrived. This time, it was about the cast. The production team introduced another performer who would play an important supporting role. The announcement included a short character description. Fans immediately reacted. The new name became part of the conversation surrounding SY. People began asking how the character would connect with Barış's role. Others wondered whether the new addition would change the direction of the story. The director was pleased with the response. The audience is building their own expectations. Barış smiled. That makes the final experience more interesting. Meanwhile, the release rumors continued. Some fans expected a theatrical release. Others believed a streaming platform could become involved. And many hoped for both. The production team remained quiet. They knew the importance of timing. One evening, Barış sat with the director after a long day. The director looked at his phone. The Netflix discussion is getting bigger. Barış smiled. It was bound to happen. Do you think people are expecting too much? Maybe. What do you hope happens? Barış thought for a moment. I hope the movie reaches the people who will appreciate it. The director nodded. Platform doesn't matter? The story matters first. That answer stayed with the director. It reflected the philosophy of the entire project. SOY had never been created simply to chase attention. The team wanted to tell a story that could stay with the audience. Whether people watched it in a theater or on a streaming platform, that was what mattered most. A few days later, the production team received an unexpected update. There had been discussions about distribution possibilities. Nothing was confirmed yet, but the possibility of a wider release was becoming more realistic. The producer called Barış. We may have something interesting soon. Barış became curious. What kind of interesting? I can't say yet. He laughed. You're becoming mysterious. Just wait. Barış smiled. All right. He put his phone down. For the first time, he felt that something significant might be approaching. The fans were already waiting. The new cast had increased the excitement. The release rumors had created even more discussion. And now, the possibility of a major streaming platform had added another question to the story. Would SOY eventually appear on Netflix? Nobody could answer that yet. But the possibility was enough to keep the audience watching closely. As the evening ended, Barış stood outside the production building. The city lights surrounded him. His phone vibrated once more. A message from the production team appeared. Tomorrow could be an important day. Barış smiled. He looked toward the building where the team was still working. The movie had already come a long way. But perhaps the biggest announcement had not arrived yet. And somewhere beyond the production office, fans were waiting for the same answer. What would be the next chapter of SOY? The next morning, the atmosphere around SOY felt different. The possibility of a major streaming release had become one of the biggest topics among fans, even though no official Netflix deal had been confirmed. The production team understood the excitement. They also understood the importance of being careful. Barış arrived early and found the director already reviewing the latest promotional materials. Good morning, Barış said. Good morning. Any new news? The director smiled. Nothing official yet. Barış nodded. That means we keep working. Exactly. The team continued preparing the movie while discussions about possible distribution continued in the background. The interest made sense. Barış already had experience with Netflix projects. His role in the club was part of Netflix's Turkish programming, and the platform continues to feature Turkish productions prominently. Netflix plus one. But SOY was a different project. Its future would depend on the production and distribution decisions made by the people officially involved. For now, the team wanted to focus on completing the movie properly. That afternoon, the cast gathered for an important rehearsal. The new actors had become much more comfortable with their roles. The director wanted everyone to perform the scenes naturally. "Don't think about the audience," he said. "Think about the characters." The cast nodded. The scene began. Barış delivered his lines calmly. The other performers responded naturally. When the scene ended, the room remained quiet. Then the director smiled. That felt real. Barış looked at the other actors. Everyone seemed pleased. The new cast had brought something unexpected to the project. Their personalities created new possibilities for the story. One actor approached Barış after rehearsal. "I think we're finally finding the rhythm." Barış smiled. "Yes, it takes time." The actor nodded. "But now it feels natural." That is when the work becomes enjoyable. Later, Barış checked his phone. Another wave of fan discussions had appeared. This time, the conversation was not only about Netflix. Fans were also discussing the new cast. Some were asking how the new characters would affect the main story. Others were trying to guess which characters would become important later. Barış smiled. He knew that the audience was beginning to build its own version of the story before seeing the final film. That was part of the excitement. A producer entered the room. "The international interest is growing." Barış looked up. "That's good. We're getting questions from viewers outside Turkey too." Barış smiled. "That means the story is traveling." The producer nodded. "And that's exactly what we wanted." That evening, the team prepared a new promotional video. It showed short glimpses of the production. There were scenes of the cast preparing, the camera crew working, the set being transformed, the actors discussing their characters. But the most important scenes remained hidden. The video ended with the SY title appearing on the screen. No major plot details were revealed. When it was published, fans immediately began sharing it. The comments filled with excitement. Some people wrote that the movie looked more ambitious than they had expected. Others focused on the new cast. And once again, the Netflix question appeared. Could this be coming to Netflix? The production team did not respond. Barış didn't either. There was still no official announcement. The following day, he attended another interview. The interviewer asked about the growing international interest. "Are you surprised that people from different countries are following SY?" Barış smiled. "Yes, and I'm very grateful." "What do you think attracts them?" "I think people everywhere connect with good stories. The language may be different, but emotions are universal." The interviewer nodded. Another question everyone keeps asking is about Netflix. Barış laughed gently. "I knew that question was coming." "So?" "I think people should wait for official news." The interviewer smiled. "You really won't give us anything?" Barış shook his head. "Not today." The audience laughed. The interview continued with questions about the cast and the production. Barış praised the new performers. He explained that every character had been chosen carefully. He also emphasized the importance of the crew. "When people watch a movie, they see the actors," he said. "But there are so many people working behind the scenes." The interviewer agreed. "That must make the final release even more meaningful." It does. After the interview, clips began circulating online. Fans noticed Barış's careful answer about Netflix. Some believed it suggested that discussions were happening. Others thought he simply wanted to avoid rumors. The truth remained unknown. And that uncertainty kept the conversation alive. A few days later, the production team held another private meeting. This time, the discussion was more serious. Several possible release strategies were reviewed. Theatrical distribution, streaming opportunities, international release options. The team considered everything. Barış listened carefully. One producer explained that no final public announcement should be made until all agreements were complete. Barış nodded. That makes sense. The director added, "We should never let excitement force us into a decision." Everyone agreed. The movie deserved the right release. The audience deserved accurate information. And the team wanted to protect the project from unnecessary speculation. Later that evening, Barış stepped outside. He looked at the city lights. His phone vibrated. It was a message from one of the cast members. "People are asking whether we know the Netflix answer." Barış smiled. He replied, "Tell them we're waiting too." A few seconds later, the response came. "Fair enough." Barış laughed. The next morning, another surprise arrived. The production team announced that additional behind-the-scenes content would soon be shared. Fans reacted immediately. They wanted to see how the movie had been made. They wanted to meet the new cast. They wanted to understand the world of SOY before watching the finished story. The first behind-the-scenes photograph showed Barış standing with members of the crew. Another showed the new cast during rehearsal. A third showed the director reviewing a scene. The response was positive. The audience could see that the project was being built carefully. One comment said, "Whatever platform releases this, we just want to watch it." Barış saw the comment. He smiled. That was the message he wanted to hear. The platform mattered. The release strategy mattered. But the story mattered most. That evening, he spoke with the director. "Do you think the rumors are helping?" The director thought for a moment. "They are creating attention. But we have to make sure attention doesn't become disappointment." Barış nodded. "Then we stay honest." "Exactly." The two men looked toward the set. The project was almost ready. The new cast had settled into their roles. The promotional campaign was growing. International interest was increasing. And the Netflix rumors continued. But nothing had been officially confirmed. For now, there was only anticipation. And sometimes anticipation could be almost as powerful as the announcement itself. As Barış left the production office that night, another message appeared on his phone. It came from the production team. "Tomorrow, we may finally have something important to share." He stopped walking. He read the message again. Then he smiled. Maybe it was about the release. Maybe it was about the distribution. Maybe it was something completely unexpected. He didn't know. But one thing was certain. The next chapter of SOY was getting closer. And the fans were waiting.